Okay, so let's talk about science. But not the kind you just memorize from a textbook. No, we're going to go on a journey to explore how science really works. And believe it or not, it all begins with one simple thing: curiosity.
I mean, just take a second and think about that. Which one is it? It's this huge, almost mind-bending question, right? And that feeling, that sense of wonder, of really wanting to know the answer, that's the true starting point for any scientific journey.
And you know, it's not just about these giant cosmic questions. That same exact curiosity applies to things you see every single day. For example, have you ever been in the kitchen watching a puri puff up in hot oil and just wondered, how? How does it do that? Well, that question, right there, is the beginning of a real scientific investigation.
So, how do we get from just wondering about something to actually, understanding it? Well, we have to become investigators. Let's look at how we can make that leap from just asking why to actually figuring out how.
This is so important. A scientific investigation isn't about already knowing all the answers. Not at all. It's about having a process to find them. It's about learning how to discover things for ourselves.
And there's a pretty straightforward 4-step process. First, you take that big general why and you turn it into a focused question. Then, you design a simple experiment. Step 3, you observe very, very carefully. And finally, you explain what you found. It's an amazing roadmap for discovery.
Now, to be a good investigator, you need the right mindset. And a great way to think about it is like having an explorer's toolkit, one that's built on 2 really key ideas: staying grounded while also letting your ideas soar.
I absolutely love this metaphor. It captures the 2 essential parts of scientific exploration just perfectly. On one hand, you have the roots, which are grounded in facts and what you can see. And on the other, you have the soaring kite, which is all about our imagination and our curiosity. You really need both.
Let's break that down a bit. The roots, they represent being grounded in what we can actually see and measure, our observations, our existing knowledge. But the kite, well, that's our curiosity taking flight. That's our creative thinking, our willingness to ask what if and to explore the unknown. Real, true scientific investigation happens when you get both of those in perfect balance.
So where can this kind of thinking actually take us? Let's take a super quick glimpse at the map and see some of the stops on this incredible journey.
This journey can take us deep into a world we can't even see with our own eyes, uncovering these tiny microbes that can either help us or harm us. And that understanding leads to incredible innovations, like the vaccines that protect our health. It can also help us understand and harness invisible forces, like electricity. This powers pretty much all the technology that makes our modern lives possible, everything from keeping our homes warm to running the devices we use every single day.
Our investigations can also reveal the fundamental rules of the universe, things like force and pressure. And these principles, they explain everything, from why a ball falls down to the ground to why a car stops when you hit the brakes.
And finally, it helps us explore these vast, interconnected ecosystems, showing us our place in the natural world. It really reveals how everything, from the microscopic to the cosmic, is all part of one giant, amazing system.
Okay, now let's make all of this really concrete. We're going on our very first expedition. We're going to apply this whole investigative process to something simple, delicious, and surprisingly mysterious: the puri.
So here's your challenge. Forget about lab coats and fancy equipment for a minute. Just using a regular kitchen, how would a scientist investigate why a puri puffs up?
So, the very first step is to identify the variables. These are all the things you have control over and can change. Can you change the thickness of the dough? Yep. The type of flour? Of course. What about the temperature of the oil, or even the angle you slide the puri in? All of these are things you can systematically change and test.
Next up, you have to decide what you're actually going to measure. These are your observations. It could be a simple yes or no, did it puff up? Or you could get more specific, like timing how long it takes. You'd also want to jot down other details, like if the oil smoked or splattered. This is your data.
And now we get to the golden rule. This is probably the most important part of the whole process. To get clear results, you can only change one thing at a time. So if you're testing the oil temperature, then the dough thickness, the flour, all that other stuff has to stay exactly the same. Because if you don't, you'll have no idea what actually caused the result you saw.
And get this, here's a fun fact that might actually surprise you.
Even with all of our modern science, the exact physics of why a pooey puffs up so perfectly, well, it's still not completely understood. It just goes to show you that science is a continuous journey, not some final destination. There are always more questions to ask.
So, you see, from the stars in the sky all the way down to a pori in a pan, the process is the same. It's all about letting your curiosity be your guide, asking questions, and systematically searching for answers. And this is a journey that every single one of us can begin, right now.
So why does all this matter? Well, because the simple logic of that Puri's investigation, observing, measuring, and changing just one thing at a time, that is the exact same process scientists use to tackle the biggest challenges facing our planet, everything from developing new medicines to understanding climate change.
The world really needs more investigators, people who are willing to look at tough problems with fresh eyes. As the source material puts it, we hope some of you will try to solve these difficult problems with curiosity as your guide. So, we'll leave you with this final thought. Just look around you. In your home, on your way to work, in the park, there are mysteries everywhere. The only question is, what everyday mystery will you choose to investigate first? Happy investigating!